Good day, mate.
I didn't know you were going to do it. You all right, mate?
You alright?
You all right? Good day.
Fish and chips.
Oh, for $6.66. Sorry, guys.
Hello and welcome to the Board Game Basement with me, AZ, Ghosty, and of course, Ghosty's mate, who is Alice, once again. And we find ourselves sending you another review. And we're doing Wasteland by Galacta. This 1 to 4 player game about exploration in the wonderful land of Oz. Which I think is great because, I mean, how many games do you know that are set in Australia?
Post-apocalyptic Australia.
Post-apocalyptic Australia. Well, I hear from a good source that Australia's actually like this.
Yeah, it is.
So if you're watching this,
From down under.
good eye, Midge.
Good eye, Lou.
Louise. Good eye, Archie.
Yeah,
I know.
it's good.
Yeah, so we've been playing Waste Nights.
Yep.
We talk about a lot of games on the Board Game Basement, and a lot of them are, well-known ones. We try and focus on things that have good games that have been out a while or games that are coming out. This one, I think, is one of those ones that you call a hidden gem. Well, I would. I would say it was a hidden gem. I saw this just out of the blue when I was looking at another game on Board Game Geek, and it comes up with the suggested things at the bottom, and I thought, what's this? And I clicked it. And it sent me to this, and I scurried on eBay and thought, can I find a copy of this? No. So I waited a while, and then there was one that popped up that someone was selling from their Kickstarter, I believe, from their second edition one. So I bought it, and fortunate enough we were able to play it, and we've played it a few times now.
Yeah, second or third time we played it.
Yeah. So we've had a good few goes, and I've had a go of it solo. So you can play the game solo on your own, you can play it with up to 4 players. The idea being of the game is that you're taking on a scenario-based situation, which is based around the continent of Australia, and you are completing whatever mission may be befallen you. Primarily, the game consists of you going around and exploring certain things and fighting baddies in this desolate wasteland. Quite simple, I would say. The rulebook's very straightforward.
It is, yeah.
Very well laid out. You have your little character who you are, which is what's his name?
That was me. Johnny Taylor.
Johnny Taylor. So you're Johnny Taylor with his dog.
Good old Johnny.
And I was first I was Logan, wasn't I? And then I decided to be this priest guy.
Oh, you're the Reverend.
The Reverend. I was going around as the Reverend just to mix it up. So how it works is fairly straightforward. You get your character, you get a vehicle to travel around Australia on. And that gives you your movement points, and you're able to move as part of an action. You can do 2 actions, you can't do the same one twice. And those actions are to move with your vehicle, to do a camp action, which means you can repair your vehicle, heal yourself, trade between each other if you're in the same space. You can also do an explore action, where you're going to try and find something in the space you're in, so that's a resource, and you're able to have a few goes at that depending on how good your character is at that. And then you're also going to do actions from the Wasted Nights Book of Tales, which is huge. So really, when I got this game, I realised there was this huge book of stuff that was going to tell you your story.
So many scenarios.
Yeah, it reminded me, what I was looking for at the time was something along the lines of Tales of Arabian Nights, which is a very, it is a story-based game. You've got a huge book of things that happen, but as a game, that game suffers from the fact that it is complete madness in terms of you just going around listening to a story that has no sort of tangible meaning. It's hilarious, because you end up in some really weird situations, but as a game it does struggle because it is, it's anyone's game. You don't go into that game trying to win or lose, you just go in to have a laugh and see what happens to you, whereas this actually has a bit more of a structured game. Book-wise, it really does remind me of This War of Mine, that book, isn't it? Very similar.
Yeah.
It's really similar, yeah, isn't it? And obviously in that game, that's a survival-based game, so mechanically that's different. Whereas this has set scenarios that you will do, and it's all set in this same wasteland-driven thing. part of the story is that not the world ended, but Australia, as it was, ended because there was a big corporation that had robots, and they kind of went do-wally and ended up creating a big explosion. So a lot of the scenarios are based on these robots and cyborgs that are going around, as well as the Wastelanders that you would get kind of Mad Max style. It has that big Mad Max feel to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That you bump into things that are art. The art is very Mad Maxy as well.
Although some of the creatures you bump into, you do find in Australia. Drop bears are native to Australia.
I seem to get attacked by those all the time. As
They
well.
love you.
They've killed me several times. I don't know why. I'm obviously attractive to the. What are they? Bat
Drop
bears.
bears.
Oh, drop bears.
It's basically koala bears.
A huge giant vampire
Yeah, it's just a
sucking
running
koala
joke,
bear.
I think, in Australia. They think it's funny.
Well, I don't think it's funny. 'Cause they
Scary.
killed me several times, yeah. So now it's another thing I'm afraid of. The reason I can't visit Australia because I'm scared of everything there. So
So this is the closest you're going to get to it, playing this game.
exactly. It's quite perilous going around Australia. There are various points on the map all over this board. It's kind of done in these hexagons all around. And each of those points can be clear, but it also can be radioactive. It can mean that it can be biohazardous. So as soon as you pass through these areas, you are affected by whatever it is that's on there. So you can get quite poorly or injured by just moving. Yeah. And at the end of a movement, you will always have to draw a card where you will find something or something will happen to you. Now that doesn't correlate to this book of Tales. It's just a selection of cards where you'll have to fight or you'll have to do a challenge and you can find something. The actual book correlates to another book, which is your story based around the scenario that you've picked. And they all tie in together, and they have various scenarios based on the player count, based on the difficulty. So you've got a lot of variety. And with the second edition one, you also had like kind of the expansion that they put out was also put into that as well, which is just extra scenarios that you can have, which is very nice. And it bulks out. The scenarios that you pick branch depending on which players you are, that depending on what you do in the Book of Tales as well. Branches those scenarios and means the setup for the next bit is slightly different or different things happen, which I think is a real clever mechanic because it gives you that replayability to the game. And if you are interested in story-based games, you want to have that replayability and you want to be able to do it again with a new group and also find different things and go down different avenues, which is nice, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can already think of ways that we could play the round that we've just done completely differently.
I mean,
so like, let's redo it.
We wandered around and did everything wrong because we slowly realised that what we were doing we kind of shouldn't have done until we did something else before. So, as a game, it's simple to play. You know, you've got your weapons, you've got your armour, and you just roll dice, and it tells you what to roll, when to roll it. Very simple, isn't it?
Some of those are cruel dice.
They are cruel, but it's simple to pick up, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not a difficult game to play by any stretch of the imagination. It's, as in, to play, it is difficult. Like
you are surviving,
barely, and something can kill you straight away. That is something that can happen in this game. Because you get so injured just travelling around, when you eventually come across something at the end of your movement, it will maim you half the time, and you can end up dying quite easily. You don't die and just go out the game, then you get a few chances to kind of recuperate yourself and become conscious again from being unconscious, or repair your vehicle if that's exploded, because you need that to travel around. But you pick up these kind of permanent damage cards which affect you unless you went to a city to try and find a doctor who could cure you, or a super mechanic who can fix your vehicle. So it can leave you categories. It's game over for you. The other player can carry on playing. However, if you're the only player left in a scenario that is made for 3 or 4 players, I can see you would be well stuffed, because you just wouldn't be able to get around quick enough to be able to complete your objective, and you'd end up in a really bad situation. As with all story-based games, when they have this sort of giant book thing, I think it's if you look at our Sleeping Gods review, we talk about how what you pick correlates to kind of the situation you're in, and you get a good feel as to the outcome. You know, it gives you a good inclination. If I do this, this is going to be geared more towards that happening, and it gives you that idea. Or it'll say this is geared towards an action that you could do better, i.e. stealth, or i.e. attacking. It gives you that clue. This suffers terribly from the same thing that a lot of games do, where it does. You really don't know what's going to happen.
You don't know how you're going to do.
You've got no manageable way of picking the right option, and that can be frustrating because we did a few things that we wanted to do, but it actually did not help us in the slightest.
It was tech for me. It's one of my worst ones, and I was like, oh, I failed. I can't even roll.
Not even that stuff that we were doing. Like you wanted to drive your truck through that fence, which is cool. Like, why would you not want to drive a truck through a fence when you can? You've got a giant truck. So we tried that, and it kind of just went dead, as in like, you failed this. And it was like, what? Why give me that option? Because that was a cool option.
Yeah, that was a cool option.
And it kind of ran flat. And I think sometimes momentum in these games is important because you're building up that story, you're getting somewhere, you're thinking, yeah, and then to just be cut flat dead is painful, especially when you're on a time limit. A lot of the scenarios have got a time limit, and if you come to the end of it, it'll make you move on, but you'll be worse off for that. And that normally means you're going to lose because it is a difficult game, as I've said.
You only have 2 actions, don't you?
You only get 2 actions, and you can't use the same action twice. So again, there is the importance of picking the right thing to do. And it's not as hard as, the previous games we've been talking about, or if you're playing a Euro game where you've got multiple options and you're trying to manage those choices.
No.
Because you're just walking around and exploring. Really, your only gripe and option is, do I want to camp and heal, or do I want to risk it and kind of carry on one more turn?
Yeah.
It's not a breathtaking decision that you've got to make. Those are really the only gripes that you're going to come across. But it's fun. Mm-hmm. It is fun, isn't it?
I really enjoy it.
It is fun. I think
it's quick paced as well, isn't it?
It is fun. And I think, with a game, is it fun is always the biggest question I ask. Is it fun? And I did have fun playing this. I had fun playing it solo, actually, sitting here and just doing it myself. I did somehow lose my mind and go on to a different story by accident and wrote down.
Did you write that
I
down?
even wrote why have I lost my mind, but I think it was late. It was like 1 a.m. or something. Oh, blame
I was
the
fast
tiredness,
asleep.
for that. But it was fun solo, so I can definitely recommend it solo. Only issue is there is only, I think, 1 scenario that is solo. So that could be a bit of a bummer. If you were going to play this primarily solo, you would only have 1 scenario to do solo. You can play, you can pick up two figures yourself and do it that way if you wanted to, and do both of them. But again, with stuff like this, you kind of want to know what's happening. You want someone else to be making decisions for themselves. Like me and Will play, and I'll make a point of saying, she'll ask me what should I do, and I'll just shrug at her and say,
You're so proud of that.
You've got to pick, it's your go.
I know, but when it's your
Don't
go, you
tell
go,
me.
oh, what would you do? And I go, oh, I do this.
You should say it back to me.
I don't say it
I'm
back.
testing you, see.
Oh, I'm not very good at that.
See if
I'm
you're
like,
quarterbacking me. Yeah.
No.
But it's fun component-wise, it's fine for what it is. You've got nice little plastic components to represent your ammo, your fuel and things like that, which I think is nice. Mm-hmm. There's nothing majorly outstanding, and the models don't need to be super duper at all. They're fine for what they are.
Yeah.
And the only models that are in it are the players that you get to use, which is fine, and they just move around the map. So I don't think that really I've got any gripe with any sort of component-wise. It's all fairly dandy and nice, isn't it?
I haven't got my glass on yet.
Yeah, that's your
I
dog.
forgot whether I had the dog or not. I was like, do
Yeah,
I
you
have
do
the
have a
dog
dog,
with
isn't
me?
it?
I know I've got him here, but I was like, do I actually have
I
him?
said you had a dog.
That's fine.
She has a dog.
I have a dog. Sorry, my voice.
She does. So overall, I think they've done a nice job. I never played the first edition, so I don't know really what they improved on from it. I think there is room for improvement with this game. On the grapevine, I heard that they were supposed to bring out a companion app for it that I guess was supposed to do something similar as to what This War of Mine did. Yeah,
Ooh, that'd be good. I'd
which
like
would
that.
be good. Yeah, that would be really helpful, just to save time. And it's a shame they haven't done that.
I think
don't
it lets
that's
you get
coming.
more immersed in the game, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because then one person's not having to keep an eye on that, and
But it also means if you're not an app fan and you don't like apps at all, even if it's just for reading, you can just read it yourself and it's fine.
Yeah.
You've got that nice option in there for you to choose from. So it's a shame that they didn't carry on and bring that out. I don't know why they kind of went flat dead, because I think they're onto something good here. If there was more games like this with different themes that were more refined, you know, that could pick up on what works, what doesn't, then it would be great. I really liked this theme. I wasn't so enamoured on the robots being in it. I thought that was a bit, you know, I'd have preferred it just to be Wastelandy rather than have robots.
More like Mad Max.
Yeah, I think stick
thing.
to that would have been my opinion. But you know, it doesn't ruin the game in any way, shape or form.
No.
It's just a small criticism that I probably would have just stuck to that. But the robot thing is kind of what most of the stories are based off of, and I think I would have probably had a bit more fun if it was gangs and, you know, weird creatures and stuff like that rather than cyborgs. Because you don't get that feel from the box or from looking at the board that there is anything to do with robots or anything like that.
No, you don't.
So it's a bit of a, oh right, kind of this is added into it. The book that gives you the adventures, that's scenarios and things like that, that has more stuff to do with robots and kind of what's going on with the corporations and stuff in it. Card-wise, I think you would probably siphon through the cards fairly quickly. And they're like the Wasteland cards. As I said, when you move onto a new space, when you finish your movement, you'll draw a card just to see what happens on that space. And that's not to do with this book, it's to do with what you find on the cards. You would get through those cards pretty quickly. So I think the replayability of the cards would get tedious because you'd be coming across the same kind of stuff when you did the next scenario. But I suppose that's difficult to get right unless you had a stack of cards this high or stack different cards per scenario, which, you know, nowadays, you know, games do.
If you had an app, it'd be a lot easier to do.
Yeah, or if you had an app that could do it, but trying to veer away from the app thing, it's not to aggravate people, and also you know, they're not bringing an app out, so you know, we just accept that. So they could have improved, I think, there, or that is room for improvement. But overall the game's fun, and I think if you do like these sort of games with these tales in, I would definitely give this a shout, absolutely, because I think it is a hidden gem, as in I didn't really hear anything about it. And it's nice to have something set in a different place, a different setting, and it's completely different to any other thing that's going around. So for me, I'd be happy recommending this to play.
This is the first kind of game that I've played that's like this, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you played the other exploration games, though.
I mean, with this theme, like Australia and
well, it's the same as me. I haven't played it either.
Yeah, and like end of the world kind of scenarios.
What about This War of Mine?
Yeah, but that's war, isn't it? So that's, I suppose it is the end of the world. Okay, so this is more futuristic.
I'm
end
only
of the
picking
world.
those. Just filler. just trying stuff. Yeah, exactly.
No, but yeah, I really did enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think it was worth us. I wanted to review it. I wanted to give a good shout because I think it does deserve that. And if you do get that chance to play it and pick it up, have a go. Or if you know someone that can get it, all get together and have a nice adventure, because it's hilarious just to see someone get maimed for no reason.
So cool.
It is cruel, except when you've got a mission to do and you're on the last few turns and you think, please don't fail this, and it happens and you think, well, that's it, we're dead.
Or when you do me, you have 4 white dice and you roll 3 blanks. 3 blanks. My dice rolling's awful.
I'm going to keep practicing.
I will.
Keep practicing. So Wasted Nights has had us, not wasted, but it's had us laughing and having a nice time, which is, you know, what it's all about. Do I think you could play this game with someone that's never played a board game before? Potentially. I think, again, all themes suiting that person, yes. If they're into RPGs or just general books and in general stories and stuff, I think it'd be a nice thing to get them involved, simple to play, but also immersive in terms of the story. Age-wise, I would probably say you'd have to be a bit older to play it. You know, sort of maybe 15 plus.
Yeah.
Just because it does have some graphic content in there. Not as graphic as This War of Mine, but probably just, I'd say probably 2 decibels below it.
Yeah.
There's some adult themes in there. So, yeah, watch who you played it with, because it doesn't really give that away on the box either.
No.
So it could be a surprise when you know, find
But if
half
you're a
naked
10-year-old,
women in malls, stuff like that. Yeah, that might not be one to whip out, but yeah, the good stuff. So we wanted to give it a shout. We're really excited to be able to bring lots of new things. We've had people sending us stuff that are coming out on Kickstarter, some stuff that's just demoing for Kickstarter. So we're very blessed and very grateful for that. But we do want to keep showing all you guys how some of the hidden stuff that's out there, some stuff that has. If you're getting into board games, you need to have a good. It's not just about what is coming out; it's about what there is available. And I hope people do get the chance to play this, and it is available to them for sure. We've launched our YouTube channel now.
oh my gosh!
I know, mad, crazy times. Crazy times. What is this? Transferable data, accessible.
It took us a while.
I know it did. So we're on there now, so please subscribe to us on there as well. We're primarily are going to stay on Instagram with our pictures and things like that, but we will be moving videos across to YouTube because I know a lot of people just they don't access Instagrams, but we want them to be able to see our reviews. So we're on Board Game Geek as well. Hooray!
Well,
I know.
I would like to know if there are games out there that people think are like this, like a hidden gem, because sometimes people go, oh, I really like this game, but it just hasn't got the credit that it deserves, or people just don't. It's not that popular, and it's not about making games really popular. It's just hearing that other people might like this sort of thing. I think that's really important. So if anybody knows of stuff like that,
absolutely.
know.
So yeah, let Alice know if you do know hidden gems. We're very interested. So yeah, that could be the theme of this one. Let us know what hidden gems you've found or find or know about, and let us know and tell us what you think we'll like, because we'd love to get them on here. We'll always give you a shout out as well if you do supply us with such things that are good. So from me at the Board Game Basement, I'm going to give Waste Nights 2 thumbs up for what it is trying to do. It achieves what it's trying to do, and I'm very happy with that. Like I've said, a Ghosty White from good old Ghosty. He enjoyed it. What do you think? 2 thumbs up from Alice. Wow, there you go. There you go. We're on a roll. An
On a
absolute
roll.
We're loving it. So on that note, I will wish everyone a good eye. Check your shoes for spiders and your toilet seats.
Your toilet seats for snakes. My Australian accent goes down the hill. Down the toilet. Downhill sometimes.
Into the wasteland. That's where
Into
it goes.
the wasteland.
Into the wasteland. So from us, toodaloo, stay safe.
Toodle bit.
And good eye.
Good eye, mate.